What happens when Karen's arrest takes a wild turn? Have you ever wondered what happens when Karen's arrest takes an unexpected twist? In this video, watch as her encounter with the police goes wildly off the rails, leading to a series of shocking and dramatic events. Let's start with this entitled mother who is arrested after she attacks her daughter. During an argument on December 3rd, 2022, officers in Ohio were dispatched to a residential home following reports of a domestic disturbance between a mother and her adult daughter. The situation, marked by escalating tension, was complex, involving conflicting accounts from both parties. Here's a detailed examination of the events, police intervention, and legal consequences that followed. Upon arrival, police officers encountered a volatile situation. The mother reported that her daughter, who had been living with her without employment, had become aggressive.
She literally pulled my hair.
Okay.
Sorry about the dogs.
As long as they're friendly and not biting me, I don't care about dogs.
No, I asked her to get a job because she hasn't had a job in forever and she needs one anyways.
According to the mother, the daughter attacked her by pulling her hair and throwing punches, leading to a physical altercation.
She don't know how to talk to a person and without aggression, and she came at me.
Is that dog chained up?
Yeah, it is. It's
Okay.
fine.
The daughter, on the other hand, claimed that her mother had physically assaulted her first by grabbing her hair, dragging her to the ground, and then pushing her when she tried to leave.
What is she saying?
Saying that Michelle grabbed her hair, poked her in the chest. She tried to walk away. Michelle grabbed her by the hair, drug her to the ground, and then she got up and pushed Mom.
Okay.
The argument's intensity was exacerbated by their deteriorating relationship, with issues such as the daughter's lack of employment and perceived disrespect fueling the conflict.
We're gonna try and figure something out. I'm trying to get both people to try and cooperate here. So, while I go back in, think about if there's anywhere else you can go for right now.
The chaotic environment was compounded by several dogs in the household, which added to the complexity of the situation.
It's a domestic. I don't have a choice. Okay. Okay. I
But I'm just saying,
understand that.
she only called you guys to talk to me and scare me. That's what she told me when she hung up. She thinks it's funny. Hey,
We're gonna do what we need to do, and I'm gonna come back in,
hey,
explain things to you in detail.
stop.
Okay.
In response to the conflicting stories, the officers aimed to de-escalate the situation by separating the two individuals. They interviewed both parties separately to ascertain the facts. The officers found themselves in a difficult position, as the accounts from the mother and daughter were inconsistent, and neither was entirely corroborated by third-party witnesses.
And
Who
then
was the
Michelle
original
called-
caller?
Michelle.
Okay. So we're taking her for TV.
She's gonna.
So. All right.
Given the nature of the allegations and the inability to determine a clear aggressor based solely on the statements provided, the police decided to arrest both the mother and daughter.
You're both going to be charged with domestic violence.
I did not touch her whatsoever.
You
This is
guys are doing this thing. You're pointing back and forth at each other. She's gonna be charged. You're gonna be going to jail
Why
because
isn't
I need
she
to
the one
separate
going
you
to
two.
jail?
I need to separate you two. All right. And that's.
This action was taken to ensure their safety and to prevent further violence. Both individuals were charged with domestic violence, a serious charge that necessitates legal proceedings to resolve.
You attacked her. You're saying she attacked you.
She has
So
no
you're-
place to go?
You're both going to get a domestic.
Following the arrests, the legal process began, with both the mother and daughter facing potential criminal charges. In domestic violence cases like this, the judicial system requires careful investigation and adjudication to ensure justice. In Ohio, domestic violence, as stated in Ohio Revised Code, Section 2919.25, is typically classified as a misdemeanor of the first degree if the victim did not suffer serious physical harm. Penalties may include imprisonment for up to 180 days, a fine of up to $1,000, and mandatory counseling or anger management programs. If the offense involves prior convictions or serious injury, it can be elevated to a felony charge with more severe consequences, including longer imprisonment and higher fines. This was a wild case, but not the worst. Wait until you see this next case where a 21-year-old arrested for not telling police who brought a gun on campus. On April 17, 2024, Ohio police were dispatched to a location where a verbal altercation among a group of individuals had nearly escalated into a violent confrontation. The police response was prompted by reports of one participant potentially being armed. Upon arrival, officers encountered a chaotic scene involving multiple people, including a 21-year-old woman who became the focal point of the investigation.
Alright, I'm gonna walk right to the car. You got any weapons on him, man? No. Nothing?
During the incident, officers approached the woman and conducted a search. Despite initial confusion and resistance, it was determined that she had no weapons on her person at the time of the search.
Nothing on you?
You got a camera? They threw it in a dumpster.
However, she did mention having a knife, which was found later. The police initially handcuffed her and searched her belongings, which she claimed contained only food.
We have people approaching us, threatening us, getting out of their car on us.
Figured all that, right?
We just came from a baby when we was walking, we ate some food and we started walking.
Okay.
The officer's primary concern was the reported gun, which was believed to be involved in the altercation.
She was carrying that bag, so she threw the bag and all down in there. One in the pipe.
Throughout the interaction, the woman repeatedly denied any knowledge of the gun or who might have brought it.
So what happened to the gun?
She explained that she and her group were returning from a baby appointment and had become embroiled in an argument with others.
If he gets arrested in my, I don't care if people hold my hand back in
Unit 79, go ahead.
What is it? What are you talking about?
if he gets arrested or I get arrested or anything, I give him the cookie for
Yeah, we'll set that up, alright? Do you want to talk to me at all, or staying quiet? Okay.
Despite her claims of innocence, her refusal to provide information about the gun or the incident raised suspicions among the officers.
I want to help you out, but you're tying my hands behind my back by not talking. And I'm not forcing you to talk, you know what I mean? That's your right. You don't have to talk to me. But do you really want this charge then? Okay. Last chance.
The woman was ultimately charged with receiving stolen property related to the stolen gun involved in the dispute.
What is it?
he's being charged.
Stolen property? What's he being charged with?
You're both being charged with felony receiving stolen property. Was the gun stolen?
This charge is significant as it indicates her potential involvement in handling stolen goods, which is a serious offense under Ohio law. The legal process that followed included assessing her cooperation with law enforcement and evaluating any previous criminal record that might influence the severity of her charges.
I can't answer about him. I mean, if he's got a criminal record, then he didn't.
be the same though. You could have more charges coming later.
In Ohio, the charge of receiving stolen property is outlined under Ohio Revised Code, Section 2913.51. This statute addresses the illegal possession of property that is known or should be known to be stolen. The penalties for this offense vary based on the value of the property and the offender's criminal history. If the property is valued at less than $1,000, the offense is typically classified as a misdemeanor of the first degree, punishable by up to 180 days in jail and/or a fine up to $1,000. If the property is valued at $1,000 or more, the offense is classified as a felony of the fourth degree, which carries a potential prison sentence of 6 to 18 months and/or a fine up to $5,000. Given the context of the case, the involvement of a stolen gun escalates the seriousness of the charge, possibly leading to more severe consequences if the court finds the woman had knowledge of the stolen nature of the gun. Additionally, her prior record and level of cooperation with the police could further impact the final judgment. All right, let's move on to the last case where things might go even further. On March 13th, 2021, law enforcement officers were dispatched to arrest a woman with multiple outstanding warrants.
Where are your granddaughters at?
She's upstairs.
Okay. Are you here by yourself?
Yeah.
Upon their arrival, they encountered a chaotic and tense situation as the woman, later identified as Misty, though she initially lied about her identity, attempted to evade arrest. The officers had been informed that Misty had 4 active warrants, prompting a determined effort to bring her into custody.
You have 4 warrants. Okay. So, do we have anybody that can take care of your kids? I've had you for a while. You have anybody that can come take care of your kids? Do what? I don't know. You got 4 active warrants.
The encounter began when officers approached Misty at her residence to execute the arrest warrants.
Well, I gotta follow you up there because you have active warrants.
The woman initially refused to cooperate, claiming she was merely getting dressed.
Well, you can't go upstairs because I'm getting dressed.
Okay, well, I'm going.
Despite her resistance, officers were compelled to follow her into the house to ensure safety and prevent her from accessing any potential weapons.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not saying you're leaving, but
I'm just going upstairs just for a
well, I
second.
gotta follow you so you don't get in. So you make sure you don't get any weapons. Does that make sense?
I don't have any weapons.
I'm not
I swear
saying
to
you
God
do,
I don't.
ma'am. I'm not saying you do. All right.
As Misty tried to delay the process, she attempted to escape through a window.
That course is going out the window.
And subsequently hid inside a closet.
Come out of there. You're under arrest.
I'm not.
Come out of there.
I didn't. Oh, you hit my face.
Get on your face. Get on your face.
During the pursuit, officers faced additional complications. Misty's attempts to evade capture included climbing out of a window and hiding in a small closet, where she was eventually confronted by the police. At one point, a dog belonging to the suspect bit an officer, adding to the complexity of the situation.
I got bit by a dog. Bit around the knee.
Misty's resistance led to physical altercations, including the dog bite and her subsequent physical struggle with law enforcement. Misty's reaction was one of fear and denial. She initially provided false information about her identity, claiming her name was Natalie.
Her name's Misty.
Misty. Natalie? What's your name?
Natalie.
Natalie.
When confronted with the reality of her situation, she admitted to her attempts to flee and the injuries sustained during the altercation. Misty faced additional charges stemming from her actions, including resisting arrest, fleeing, and eluding officers. She was also held accountable for battery on an officer due to the dog bite incident. Following the arrest, Misty was transported to the hospital where she continued to exhibit signs of distress, including complaints of head pain and dizziness.
She ain't 20, she ain't 20 and she ain't Natalie either.
Despite her claims of injury, officers noted that she seemed capable of movement and was instructed to either walk out of the residence or be dragged out on a sheet if necessary.
Tried to grab you out of that window when you tried to run from me.
I'm sorry.
Well, now you're getting another charge, so congratulations. No, you're not getting a summons. You're going to jail if you get treated. You ain't getting a summons, that's for sure. I got bit by a dog. You definitely ain't getting a summons.
The situation highlighted the difficulties and risks associated with apprehending suspects who resist arrest. Under Florida statutes, Chapter 843, it is illegal to resist or obstruct an officer while they are performing their official duties. This can include physically resisting arrest or fleeing from the police. Penalties for resisting arrest without violence can include up to 1 year in jail and/or a fine up to $1,000. If force is used, the penalties can be more severe. According to Florida statutes, Chapter 316.1935, fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer is a serious offense. It can be classified as a felony with penalties ranging from 5 years to 15 years in prison, depending on the circumstances and whether the pursuit resulted in injuries or significant property damage. Under Florida statutes, Chapter 784.07, battery on a law enforcement officer is a third-degree felony. This offense carries a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison and/or a fine of up to $5,000. The severity of the charge can be influenced by the extent of injury inflicted on the officer. Her actions resulted in additional charges and compounded the consequences of her initial offenses, demonstrating the severe ramifications of resisting law enforcement and attempting to evade arrest. All right, fellas, what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting and educational contents in the future. Thanks for your support.